Imagine this. A guy wakes up, checks his bank account, and sees $200,000 deposited. His annual salary. Not his net worth, his salary. He drives a nice car, lives in a great neighborhood, takes vacations. By every measure society hands us, this guy made it. But here's the thing nobody talks about. He's stressed about money. Every single month. He has almost nothing saved. His credit cards are not exactly empty. And when an unexpected bill shows up, a car repair, a medical expense, anything, his stomach drops. Sound familiar? Maybe not at 200K, but at whatever number you're at right now, here's a question that should genuinely bother you. If earning more money was the answer, why do so many people who earn a lot of it still feel completely broke? The answer has almost nothing to do with income, and everything to do with something most people never learn. We've all heard the promise. Work harder, earn more, and your money problems go away. It sounds logical. If you're struggling on $40,000 a year, then $80,000 should fix it, right? And $200,000 definitely should. But here's what actually happens for a lot of people. When income goes up, spending goes up just as fast. Sometimes even faster. The apartment gets upgraded, the car gets replaced, the vacations get a little longer, the restaurants get a little nicer. And before long, the person making $200,000 a year is essentially living the same paycheck-to-paycheck life as someone making $50,000, just on a much more expensive stage. Economists have a name for this. They call it lifestyle inflation. But that word inflation makes it sound like some cold financial concept. In reality, it's a deeply human psychological trap, and almost every single one of us is vulnerable to it. Here's why. Our brains are not wired to think in absolutes. They're wired to think in comparisons. You don't feel rich or poor based on the number in your bank account. You feel rich or poor based on who and what you're comparing yourself to. This is where the real problem starts. Let's go back to our 200K earner. Call him Marcus. When Marcus was making $60,000, his friends drove used Hondas. He drove a used Honda. Life felt pretty normal. Then Marcus got promoted. Big raise. He moved into a nicer building. His name was drive BMWs.
His new colleagues take international trips for long weekends. His company does team dinners at restaurants where the appetizers cost what his old grocery bill used to. Marcus's income tripled, but so did his reference points. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. We constantly measure our lives against the people around us. And the tricky part is, as you earn more, the people around you earn more too. So the feeling of keeping up never actually ends. You just keep running on a faster and faster treadmill. There's actually a specific term for this, the hedonic treadmill. The idea is that no matter how much better your life gets, you quickly adapt to the new normal. That brand new car that made you so happy in February, by June, it's just your car. The upgrade to first class that felt incredible once becomes the only way you want to fly. Every peak becomes the new baseline. And this isn't a weakness or a character flaw. It's literally how human brains are built. We're wired to adapt. It kept us alive for thousands of years. But in a modern consumer economy, it can quietly drain your entire financial life. Now, layer on top of that something called the wealth illusion. Most people are terrible at distinguishing between earning money and building money. They look at a high salary and think that person is wealthy, but a salary is income. It's a flow. Wealth is a stock. It's what you actually keep and grow over time. Marcus earns $200,000. After federal and state taxes, he's probably taking home somewhere between $120,000 and $135,000, depending on where he lives. That sounds like a lot, but his mortgage in a nice neighborhood runs $4,500 a month. Car payments for him and his wife are another $1,400. Private school for 2 kids, that's $2,500. Dining out, travel, subscriptions, gym memberships, the vacation they booked 6 months ago, it all adds up fast. At the end of the month, Marcus might be saving $3,000, maybe $4,000, which sounds decent until you realize that's less than 3% of his gross income.
That is the savings rate of someone who is technically one bad month away from financial stress, even at 200K.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Studies show that financial anxiety doesn't actually scale with income the way we think it should. Surveys of high income households consistently show stress levels around money that rival those of middle income families. The reasons are different, but the feeling is the same. Why? Because the gap between what people earn and what they feel they need keeps expanding with every raise they get. Think of it this way. Imagine you're holding a bucket. Your income is the water flowing in from the top. Your expenses are the hole at the bottom. Most people's financial strategy is just earn more water, turn up the faucet, get a better job, ask for a raise, make more. But if the hole at the bottom keeps growing at the same rate as the water coming in, bucket never fills up. And that is the story of millions of people in this country who earn six-figure salaries and still feel financially fragile. The fix is almost never earn more. The fix is widening the gap between what flows in and what flows out. There's a concept in personal finance called the savings rate, and it might be the single most powerful number in your financial life. More powerful than your income, more powerful than your investment returns. It tells you what percentage of your income you're actually keeping and putting to work. Someone earning $60,000 and saving 25% is building wealth faster than someone earning $200,000 and saving 5%. Not because they're doing math differently, because they're playing a completely different psychological game. The people who actually build wealth aren't necessarily the highest orders. They're the ones who want to be intentionally unsatisfied, not miserable, but aware. They decided deliberately that they were not going to let their spending automatically expand every time their income did. So, what does this actually mean for you? First, track the gap, not the income. Stop measuring your financial health by what you earn. Start measuring it by the difference between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is your real financial engine. Protect it like it's the most important number in your life, because it is.
Second, run from lifestyle creep before it runs you. Every time your income goes up, make a decision before the money arrives. Decide in advance what percentage goes to savings, investing, and debt payoff. Automate it. Because the moment that extra money hits your checking account and sits there, your brain will find a reason to spend it. Not because you're irresponsible, because that's just how human brains work. Third, separate your identity from your spending. A lot of the purchases people make at higher income levels aren't really about comfort. They're about signaling to themselves and to others that they've made it. The expensive car, the designer items, the premium everything. None of it actually makes you wealthy. It makes you look wealthy while keeping you financially stuck. There's a famous line from the book The Millionaire Next Door. The people who look rich usually aren't, and the people who are rich usually don't look it. Real wealth is quiet. It's boring. It sits in index funds and retirement accounts and paid off mortgages, not in a driveway or on a wrist. Fourth, raise your savings rate aggressively. If you're saving less than 20% of your income, there is almost no income level at which you will feel truly financially secure. Not 100K, not 200K, not 500K. The security doesn't come from the number. It comes from the habit. Here's the uncomfortable truth that this whole conversation leads to. No amount of money will ever feel like enough if you keep treating income as the destination. Because income isn't the destination. Income is just the raw material. What you do with it, how much of it you convert into assets, how much of it you convert into memories worth having versus just stuff that impresses people you barely know. That's the real story of your financial life. Marcus, our 200K earner, isn't broke because he doesn't earn enough. He's broke because the target keeps moving. Because he's been chasing a feeling, security, success, satisfaction, by spending money instead of building it. And here's the question you should sit with after this video ends. What's the number you're chasing? What salary, what income level, what account balance do you tell yourself will finally make you feel okay about money? Because if you don't have an honest answer to that question, if the number is just always a little bit more than whatever you have right now, then you've already identified the real problem. And it's not your income. It's the gap between what you earn and what you keep. Close that gap, and almost everything else about your financial life gets easier. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one.